Chair, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that what the honourable members are raising, and can I say risk identified, risk the questions are very valid. And of course, it is like one member has said, this is not just the taking over of a building or anything like this. It's a high, can I say, high or a facility which is classified. And of course, we have to ensure that we do our utmost best to ensure that we don't have, for instance, strikes, escapes, and all that sort of problems that can have a detrimental effect on the inmates. Let me start by also saying that, can I say to the Honourable Nias, unfortunately, I cannot concur with what you said in the 90s of the Portfolio Committee. I've not been on that Portfolio Committee. I've been on the Police Portfolio Committee. I also want to refer to the Honourable Engelbrecht and the alignment he actually referred to of functions with DCS structure and post-establishments. Can I just say, Honourable Chair, there's a print on the findings. It says the type of management structure options were presented to the executive of DCS. It's not the executive, it must be the National Commissioner. It has not been presented to the executive, just that correction there. I also want to say that we must remember that, and I understand the concerns raised in terms of G4S, but G4S is a subcontract for MCC. And DCS, Correctional Services, we have no, can I say, authority over G4S or part of, can I say, the management of that. That's purely a matter between MCC and G4S. And we take note, of course, of the situation as been raised on the risk on that. We must always understand that in a contract such as this, is that there is some, can I say, whole process also in the contract where, for instance, a private company must give their cooperation to ensure that there is a smooth takeover, because of the fact that we are talking here of a maximum center. So we are looking into that, but I will, through you, Honourable Chair, there are specific questions, and we have the members of the task team, through you, to the acting National Commissioner, and then they can answer all the other detailed questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. DM?
Thank you very much, Chair, and let's appreciate the input and questions from the honourable members of the portfolio. Chair, I think some of the matters we really appreciate that has been raised by the honourable members. But also, Chair, to say in terms of the contract that the department has, because there was a time where we've met with the lawyers, the minister, the lawyers, and the NC on the litigation matters. Yeah, winning and finalizing that matter, it's not a nearby issue. But my understanding is that if a department has a contract with a service provider, because the court has delayed, we put that aside, but the contract is ending. Yes, I understand the fears or concern raised by honourable members of saying the hostility in taking over. This has clauses and the steps on how we should follow in terms of how we deal with that contract as it lapses. Hence, earlier the department came before the portfolio to present. But also on the presentation, it highlights stakes taken in terms of issues raised by honorable members, like your takeover plan, where HR has a process in deploying members there 3 months prior the lapse of the contract, so that we familiarize with the running of the system and the training on these new staff to operate this new asset verification before the actual verification happens. So there's quite a plan that is there, and today they have put it concretely to say we would be doing. Remember also the fear to say these officials are not familiar with the surrounding or the facility, but these are officials that are from the DCS who knows and has operated in maximum prison. But also there's that training on time to time in terms of familiarizing with those. And on the issues raised on the budget, remember also while there was triple P, but the budget for that triple P was there. On the presentation, it reflects that their budget for the triple P now will be now moved to be a normal operating budget. So yes, there would be some adjustment there and there, but also the consultation, because issues of unrest were raised, but also that component of labor consultation that was done with the PSA and POP crew, it gives us a bit of a comfort in terms of not having hostility. But here, we're no longer dealing with that dispute of canceling the contract. Now it's more focused on saying the contract is lapsing, and in terms of the clauses, it's guided when the department can start coming in and making sure. And part of the things HR has done, which was supposed to be starting yesterday, it's the memo that has been approved to say they must start advertising internally, but also externally, and finalize it in January, so that those that must be appointed, remember those debriefing sessions and consultations when they were done, is to prepare for this. But all the things like the minister has said, yes, backup plan, and I think the team that is leading that must really come also on time to time as the 6 months come closer. Brief the executive on really fears if they have, but where they are and how they presented the matters. Yes, we're getting there, but once contract lapses, it has lapsed. You'll not sit and expect to operate where your contract has lapsed. That's my take, Chair. Thank you. But most of the issues, like the minister said, we'll refer them to administration, because that team, it's a team that is dealing with the day-to-day, and they will give those responses at the operational level. Thank you, Chair and Minister.
Thank you so much, DM. Acting MC?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And as indicated earlier on, we are a team here where there are areas that are missed, then team members will follow to provide honorable members with some responses. I will start with Honorable Nehhouse from the beginning. I'm not going to be dealing with the issue of the legal actions, as the minister has already attended to it. Now, most honorable members have asked the authority of the temporary manager at Mangaung, Mr. Mashabataka. When we sent Mr. Mashabataka there, it was initially for the 90-day takeover process. Now, we decided as the department that as part of the preparations, we are not going to draw Mr. Mashabataka, even when the legal processes were stalled, simply to ensure that he grasps all the functioning and the performance of Mangaung. Now, in terms of his authority there, because the center is not totally under our control in terms of day-to-day, he does not have the total authority over the Mangaung Correctional Center in terms of their operation. But in terms of monitoring and ensuring that they adhere to the contractual obligation, in terms of what honorable members have raised before, that there were certain underhand activities that were taking place. Us to keep him there is to ensure that he becomes an ear and an eye for the Department of Correctional Services. He's not alone. There are also a controller and some other junior members that are with him in that facility. So that is the reason why we kept him there. Now, I'm going to couple that with the additional official that the Honorable DM has also covered on the additional staffing that we have identified that they need to go and be Mangaung. We need to indicate that the very same process was followed during the 90 days, but unfortunately, because the legal processes, we could not put those officials there. Now that we have got a natural expiration of the contract, those officials will be there. They will be there at the expense of the department, not at the expense of the contractor, because it is for the interest of the department that we have our smooth transition. Furthermore, the Department of Correctional Services, in terms of the security structures, we also have correctional centers under the Department of Correctional Services that also have almost more or less similar security structures. I can think about in element about Zanin and Standard and Correctional Center, and then I think Dr. Bwota is at liberty to inform the honorable members about in terms of the system that we have in terms of the operational system. So that is the objective of sending the 50 to 100 members there before the actual takeover, so that they can learn everything. Over and above, we also have got a lot of maximum facilities in the Department of Correctional Services, as we had a slide presentation regarding the number of maximum facilities that we have in our department. So I want to assure the honorable members that those processes are being undertaken by the trustee and the branches that the Department of Correctional Services have. Now, the second matter was with regard to the unnatural death of offender Mpong Veni. What any legal action taken against the culprits. I think in that regard, we will definitely provide the investigation report and the actions that were taken against all those that have been involved in the process of this unnatural death of an offender. So we might not be in a position to provide these now, honorable members, but the investigation has been commissioned, and we will inform the honorable members about what has been done or that what is being done. I think it's similar application. What are the officials still involved? Are they still employed? So we'll provide those details in terms of the investigation and the entire process that has been undertaken. I think there's also the question of what is the DCS doing before the takeover to ensure that we avoid further scandals. I've already indicated, honorable members, that the sending over of the 50 to 100 officials is precisely that, to ensure that we are at every unit, every operational center of Mangaung. Let me further indicate that the 50 officials will not only be 50 to 100 officials will not only be restricted to security officials. We have indicated that the medical has been outsourced, pharmaceutical service has been outsourced, any other professional service that has been outsourced. We have these professionals within the Department of Correctional Services that will be able to be deployed there specifically to see each and every operational unit under Mangaung, whether insourced or outsourced. So they will be there. The advantage that we also have is that fraud play management area, it is just a strong throw away from Mangaung Correctional Center. So where there is a need to bring in services from fraud play, it will be done under the Department of Correctional Services. Now, I will couple that with the question that was also raised to say, what is HR doing to conduct continuous job evaluation on the management structure? This is precisely to say, if we deploy 50 to 100 officials 3 months prior, our continuous evaluation will be that, are they enough? Can we do more? Remember, we even said that there will be another advent by the 31st of January 2026. So this process, it is not a process that you are going to send these 50 people, 100 people, then we stop. The task team will be meeting continuously. The branches and the work streams will be meeting continuously and do each and every evaluation. But because the staffing the responsibility of HR, that's why we are saying that we will be doing this continuous job evaluation to ensure that any gaps that are identified prior to the takeover are being addressed. The question of the construction labor, I think the Honorable DM has already touched on that. I'm not going to go on that because we recognize that labor is our critical stakeholders. What we will do, as honorable members have asked, is that we will be able to provide the communication strategy. But we said that before we agree with labor on the communication strategy, we will not be able to issue it out because we want them to be part and parcel of this process. We don't want to run it unilaterally. There should be a thorough consultation and understanding, precisely to address this risk of uncertainty and disruption of services. Because if we don't do that, we might have a situation where labor distances itself from the communication that the department is issuing. So both POPRO and PSA, they are very key towards the takeover of this process. The issue of leaking sensitive information, obviously, is the risk that we need to manage. We said in one of our work stream there, we indicate that the personal suitability of officials has been done. Now, obviously, if there are people that are under Manaun at the moment, we said when the contract expires on the 30th of June, there is no job guarantee. So we should definitely go to check each and every record of employees under the BCC at the moment that are working there. If they were found of any misconduct, of any ill behavior that might undermine the running of the department. But if there are officials that will be found leaking important information, these officials will definitely be dealt with in terms of the Department of Correctional Services Code of Conduct. And then with regard to the breaches that the G4S is having, I think we have our CDC rehabilitation that is being overseen this process both on the two private facilities to ensure that if there are any breaches, then fines are being instituted against the offenders. The question on the risk of medical legal suit, I think what we'll do, obviously, when we take over each and every offender, we are going to make sure that the offenders, the medical processes are there, they are being checked, their files, their conditions. Hence, I said earlier on that we are not only going to take over or deploy security officials, but all professionals will be deployed there so that we don't wait the 1st of July to have these professionals starting to look on the files of inmates. That risk will definitely be dealing with it through the process of 3 months deployment. Then the questions of Honorable Ellen Brett, say which work stream is behind on what is being done at the moment. I need to say to the honorable members that at this moment, all work streams are on track in terms of the plan. There is no work stream that is behind. and then we are definitely on par in terms of the work that's been done. Then the issue of the different sites fits all for the blueprint for Kutama and Mangaung. We are saying that the fortunate part at Kutama, majority of the professional services are insourced. Your nutrition, your medical, your education, they are in-house. So it is not going to be difficult in terms of us taking over Kutama Sintumule, because the work that we have done at Mangaung will make it easy for us. And currently, there are no legal challenges between ourselves and Kutama Sintumule that will delay the process. So hence we are saying that what the pain that we are undergoing at the moment will definitely be used, and it will be lessened because most of their services are in-house. So, and there are no current legal challenges that we are having. I've already spoken about the screening of the officials that we were taking consideration. I think some honorable members have asked about the issue of unemployment. Our plan is taking that into consideration, that one way or the other, our negotiations with labor, which have an interest in terms of their members being employed, will have to take into consideration that there are employees at Mangaung that are currently there. But we are saying that we have got our Correctional Services Act that regulates employment in the department. We also have got specific OSD dispensation per each and every professional. So, for example, Correctional Services Act does not allow any person over the age of 60 to be employed under the correctional services. So, therefore, any other person at Mangaung that is above 60 and is currently employed as a security official will definitely not be considered, because the act automatically kicks him out. So, we'll be taking those into consideration, and each and every official that we do, then we are going to do the proper screening. I've already dealt with the question of continuous screening of official. Okay. Also, the issue of security lapses. Yes, we are aware of various security lapses at Mangaung that have taken place. Like I've indicated that the objective of having this team that is going to support the temporary manager there and keeping him there is ensure that we are mitigating this risk of the security lapses that are taking place. Now, the data migration in terms of the files. Now, we have got a process, and it's also part of our plan, of called roll call in the Department of Correctional Services. When the Tabo Western matter happened, among other shortcomings that we have discovered, that Mangaung Correctional Center were not doing the physical roll call on offenders. So, therefore, among other improvements, when we introduced the temporary manager there, was to ensure that monthly roll calls are being done. And what is this monthly roll call? That you physically compare the fingerprints on a warrant with the offender. You do that physically. So you make sure that the offender in front of you takes fingerprints, compare, and you put the warrant aside, and you do to all 2,928 offenders every month, and certifications is being sent to confirm that roll call is being done. And the temporary manager is enforcing that to be done. So therefore, in terms of the data migration, unfortunately, electronically, we won't be able to do it before the takeover, but our IT has already done all this, the necessities, and they've seen which areas they needed to do. So we will be able, we are covered on that one in terms of that. But the key thing is the physical matching of warrants with the offender in front of us. That is being done. We have already spoken about the additional resourcing. Okay, I think we also spoke about this, the risk. Yes, we will identify the risks that are most critical. And then to us, the most critical risk, honorable members, is the issue of uncertainty and disruption of services. And if the services can be undermined, can be disrupted, system can be switched off, people do not report for work. That to us will be the most critical risk. So therefore, I think honorable members are aware that the Department also of Correctional Services have got a team that we normally deploy in this risky situation that is called the emergency support team. That in the event we have that, then we just deploy the immediate support team that as we move on, we are going to identify them and put them on standby in the event that they will have to come to this situation. But we are saying if we have clear understanding, communication with labor, we don't see that we will have this risk that we need to worry about, but we are going to manage that. I've already spoken about the communication about labor. Then Honorable Changase also had the issue of the temporary manager, and that will also respond on the day-to-day operational authority of this temporary manager. I've addressed the issue of what people losing their jobs, the wariness that they could stop. That I think I covered. And then I've also the issue that to ensure what steps will be taken to ensure that the DC staff are not sabotaging the takeover. I think we said that the deployment will ensure, and our decision to keep the temporary manager there is to mitigate against this risk. We are aware, honorable members, that there is this potential of them sabotaging the system. There is this thing to say they will not want to have this smooth transition. So we definitely have taken this into consideration. We are continuously and then evaluating. We have actually even said that we will, as the task team and the branches, on a weekly basis, monitor our activities and check what is happening at Mangaung Correctional Center. Okay, I've already responded on that. And then there was a question by Honorable Muela. And then okay. Yes. Then there was a question of maintenance of the bed space. Yes. As indicated that there are currently new generation facilities in the department. That bed space does not make provision for you to increase. If the cell accommodates 10 people, then the beds are made in such a way that they are for 10 people. So unless you build another infrastructure, then you can increase the bed space. So the current bed space will remain, and we have also identified that we have a lot of maximum sentence offenders in our facilities. Hence, the decision was taken that we are going to remain with that facility being a maximum. And the other question that the takeover plan, it is because this task team and the branches that we are continuously meeting, developing and updating our plan. Indeed, we have our plan, and that is we are also presenting the plan to our honorable members. Then I touched on the issue of the security and IT. And then the position that need to be filled, we have in terms of the needs. I think HR will also cover the number of positions that we have identified there, and those positions will be filled through the normal advertisement that will be taking place. When we take over, we might not fill all the positions at the same time. Like we continue doing the recruitment, then we will also be doing the recruitment for Mangaung. But I'll allow HR to give us the numbers of those specifically how many positions are there in terms of them. And then the areas of the budget, I'm going to leave the areas of the budget to the CFO to deal with that. And then on the Honorable Gasa, I think I've already dealt with the issue of the 50-50, and then also issued the budget prioritization. Then the CFO will be dealing with that. And then the questions on Honorable Nolishangu, and then that the total cost for the two facilities per month, the CFO will be also dealing with that. And on the suspended official on the death of Endam Ponguleni, I think I've already responded to that. That's what the department will be doing. We are going to provide the investigation report. And then
Acting NC, it's
yes.
Mpomkum.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Not in Gubeni. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. So we'll be able to provide the investigation report. And then we also responded on the important measures that we have taken before the takeover, and that there are also penalties that are implemented in terms of what it is being done at those areas that they are not complying with. But I think I'm also going to allow the acting director just to detail the recent implementation of the penalties that has been done or implemented effective at Malawi. And we, with regard to the question of Honorable Scopo, indeed, I think both the Honorable Minister and Honorable TM alluded to the fact that we are aware that it's not going to be a smooth transition. But as the department, we are ready to ensure that when the time comes, and then we are able to take the Malawi to the Department of Correctional Services. And then I think I've already responded on the issue of the record of offenders, and then the security vulnerability that will continue to, as we place those officials there, I think they will also go into give us up to date. I think as this task team and the branches will not be resting to ensure that there is a smooth transition. And I think with the areas that the Honorable Chair also have emphasized, I've responded on them. And then with regard to what will be done in terms of to avoid the escapes, any other thing during the takeover, because we'll be taking experienced official from Department of Correctional Services, I think honorable members. If you check in terms of our escapes record under correctional services in maximum facilities, that they are very much minimal in our maximum facility. So we'll be deploying those experienced officials that have got experience of working with maximum offenders, and then to ensure that these risks are being minimized. But I'm going to stop there, Honorable Chair, and then I'm going to hand over to my team members to respond some of the questions that I could not attend to. The CFO will be the first on the block. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Can I hand over to the CFO?
Yes, Acting NC. Marumula, come through.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Greetings to the Minister, Deputy Minister, and also the National Commissioner and the ministers that are in the platform. Just to deal with the issue, I'll start with the amount that we're paying to the two triple Ps. It fluctuates, but it's consistent in terms of approximately 45 million per correctional center. So in both correctional centers, the department spent almost actually between 90 and 95 million every month to pay actually the two centers. Just to go to the question relating to the reprioritization that was asked by Honorable Kaza, that as the Deputy Ministers indicated, that what we have done when we're preparing our budget for the MTEF and the AENE, we have communicated with National Treasury that the operational budget, that 45 million that we're spending on the operational budget. So that particular budget has been segmented now from the 1st of July under the COE, goods and services transfer subsidies. That's the reprioritization that is going to be taking place for the Mangaung Correctional Center. And also just to be able to indicate that from that particular budget, obviously is going to be informed in terms of the number of people that will be, or employees that will be employing specifically in terms of that. But that's how our prioritization will be planned. But Treasury is working closely with us specifically in terms of ensuring that from that we comply, and then on the 1st of July 2026, we don't have actually any issues. It is a continuous engagement between us and Treasury. But what is of importance, Chair and the Minister, Deputy Minister, and always make sure that from that particular allocation is indeed consistent with whatever that we've been allocated, specifically in terms of whatever requirements that as the department we are looking. So we're not going to have actually any challenges in that particular space because of Treasury's already know, and then they'll be able to make recommendations relating to that. I think let me just stop there, Chair. That was the issue of the budget. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Can I request the acting CDC incarceration to talk on the systems and security?
Thank you, Acting National Commissioner. Good morning to the Honourable Chairperson, committee members, and also my executive. Chairperson, in terms of the work stream that's responsible for security, but also for facilities, I can report that during the period of the concession agreement, we have conducted frequent dilapidation surveys at the facility. So in terms of the work relationship between DCS and the directorate responsible for facilities at G4S, we maintain that relationship. And perhaps I can just provide comfort by saying that there's a good relationship between our facilities management and facilities of management of the contractor, in the sense that there's good cooperation in terms of providing sketch plans, updated reports in terms of the equipment life cycle and so forth. So at this stage, we have all that information in terms of as-built drawings, also asset registers in terms of equipment, but also in terms of the security systems. So, Chairperson, when we look at the security system, and the Acting National Commission already indicated, in terms of the new generation design, the unit management principle, we are familiar with regard to that design, and also familiar with that type of approach. So in terms of the facility, it's nothing new to the correctional services. So I'm comfortable that we'll be able to manage that facility once we take it over. The Chairperson, I think from a takeover perspective, it will be prudent that we, before actually on the day of the actual takeover, we should have control room operators in the facility that will be able to operate the systems. I can just mention, for example, at the facility, we have a total of 27 local control rooms. We also have 3 central control rooms with a lot of infrastructure. We have that inventory list here. But it will be important for us just to, before the takeover, that we have control room operators on site, and that is part of our plan going into the takeover process. But from a facilities and security perspective, in terms of the action plan, we're up to date. It's just a matter that we need to maintain the plan, and if there's new risk identified during the course of the takeover process from now going forward, we just need to amend our risk register going forward. So, Chairperson, from my side, that is the inputs that I need to present. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chair. Can I request CDC HR, CDC bond, to provide the side of HR?
Is CDC bond there?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you and to the other honourable members. I just am going to clarify the issue of the number of posts that we need to fill by the time of the takeover, as raised by Honourable Moela. The number of posts that are required in terms of the management area option that has been approved is 780. So we will need to fill 780 positions. I think the Acting National Commissioner has addressed the rest of the HR issues that were raised. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members.
Before you move, CDC bond, is it 708 or is 780?
780, Honorable Chairperson.
Okay, thanks. Acting NC,
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to request the acting director of contract management, Advocate Mahlangu, just to talk on the issues of penalties.
Thank you, Acting National Commissioner, the Minister, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Chair, and the committee. With regard to the observation notices, I think the committee should take note that we've already issued observation notices with regard to the assault and the murder of inmate Umbeni, and also the certification of employment for the officials that are involved have also been revoked. So we have done something as the department, and we are continuing to follow up on the arrest. The matter is currently with SAPS, and the 4 officials have been arrested. Thank you, Acting NC.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. That will be the response from the Department of Correctional Services, and we are going to pause the Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Acting NC. DM, any additions?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think I'm covered with the responses. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Any additions?
No additions, Honourable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members, were all your questions answered?